Hey everybody, this is Dina Rico at the Creativity Cave, and check out this adorable, super cute card. This uses some of the awesome Cupcakes and Carousels Designer Series paper, which is on the clearance rack, or actually it's on the retiring list for only $6, which is 40% off, an awesome deal. And I'm also using the stamp set Beautiful You. I'm going to show you the picture in the catalog because I don't have a label sheet for my stamp set. Anyway, this set is so fun to use, and one of my favorite parts of the set are all the awesome sayings that come in this set. So let me show you how to make this card because it's really pretty simple. All the details and dimensions and colors and all of that good stuff can be found on my blog post, which is linked in the description of this video, so check that out. You can also shop my online store by clicking on the links below in that description as well. I'm starting with a pool party card base that I have just folded, and then I have a panel of Bermuda Bay, and you can see the colors in here are just gorgeous. And on the other side there are corals and orangey colors, which are really pretty. So I love this paper. It's so fun. So I'm going to take each of these pieces and just kind of lay them out on my cardstock to kind of make sure that they fit the way they're supposed to fit. For instance, I just discovered that this piece is too short, so we're going to need to recut that because we want them all to be the same length. So to do that, let me grab my printed paper. You'll laugh when you see my stack of paper because I've been using this quite a bit. I actually have gone through about 3 packs of this paper. And so I want to get that, let's see what this is on the other side, the stripes. Because, you know, it's one of those things where you find the piece you need and then you find, or you are looking at the wrong side and realize you've been looking for the right, never mind. Oh my gosh. Let me cut this piece. Quick. I'll take one of the correct sized ones to make sure I have the right size. So they're 1 1/4 by 3 1/2. So sorry I'm doing this out of the frame, but my cutter, my Stampin' Up paper cutter is out in my classroom area. Okay, so these should fit now, and I just love these colors. They're so pretty. Did you know that all the colors that coordinate with the DSP are listed on here? Now you can read them in French, German, or Japanese, but I prefer English myself. Okay, so now I'm going to flip these over and adhere them. Of course, you can do the same card in these colors on the back side too if you just switch the layer and the card base, because they're really fun. This has got to be one of my favorite papers in a long time because I love that it's kind of got that that sort of worn look, you know, there's kind of that shabby chic, I guess, look, if you will. And it's you can actually read the writing on there, so I'm going to flip it over. Okay, and then here's the great, oh, and it totally fit. Yay! I love when that happens. So I was going to say, normally I do kind of make sure they fit in there perfectly before I started hearing things, but okay. Now I have some of the vanilla satin ribbon. This is also in the occasions catalog towards the back, and I'm just going to tie a knot on here. And this is such pretty ribbon, and I like that it's kind of skinny. It's, I think it's a 1/4 inch. Yeah, it's a 1/4 inch, so it's just a little skinnier than normal, and I think that makes it a nice size. Okay, so I tied that on there, and I'm just going to trim those edges. And then let's do some stamping with our stamp set. You know, I think this might be, well, I was going to say maybe we should pop this whole layer up, don't you think? You know I'm a big fat fan of dimension. Oh my gosh. There is nothing better than dimension, in my humble opinion. Okay. So we've got our dimensionals. I like cutting up those edge pieces to get the most out of my sheet of dimensionals, and then I'll just pop that right onto my card. Now I want to stamp my sentiment, and because the background of this paper is kind of very vanilla, I'm going to use a scrap of very vanilla to stamp and then punch. Now the stamp is really easy to use. We're just going to take 2 ink pads. I've got Bermuda Bay is one, and then Early Espresso is actually the other. Again, that's from the cover of my printed paper. So I'm just gonna, do you see how I'm doing that? I'm just inking up just the words. I got a teensy bit on the E, so I'm just gonna wipe that off with my finger because that's how I roll. You could use a baby wipe if you wanted. And then I'm just gonna ink this. There, I'm trying to get the right angle for you so you can see. So I've got live, laugh, love, and then the rest of the words are in there. I just stamped that out on my piece of cardstock, which looks adorable. I love that there's the 2 colors on there. Now the other thing I have, this is a tip for you. So I'm going to punch this out with my decorative label punch. And sometimes it's easy to do, but if you have a little piece of paper, kind of like I do here, this will work. But if you needed a little more, if this was not enough for you to hold on to, if you needed a little more of a handle, you can take a Post-it note, stick it on there, and then you have all that extra room to hold onto your cardstock, and you can move it around in your punch, which is really helpful. I did happen to manage with this piece, but that way you can still use your small scraps, but you can still hold on to what you're working with. Now, on this modern label, which by the way is on the retiring list, which I think is gasp worthy, there's a new label punch coming out, but it is nothing like this one. So if you don't have it, I do recommend it. It works with so many sentiments. It's a really versatile punch. I will actually miss it quite a bit. But I did take and cut out, if I can find them, a couple of pieces of glimmer paper and I'm going to just pop those right behind my label like so. Okay, so to do that, I'll take and flip this over, grab me some fast fuse and put it along the edge there, and then I'll just kind of set that on there and then try and make it even and set it on here, and look at that sparkle. That just adds a nice little fun touch. And then last but not least, I'm just going to pop this whole label up onto my card, and then that's it. That's all that it takes to create this adorable card. Now I like this because this is kind of an all-purpose for any reason type of a card. You could send this to just about anybody for just about anything, and I think it would be fun and well received. But of course, this would be great for a birthday card or maybe even a graduation, depending on the occasion, maybe like a college graduation. But I do love the sentiment nonetheless. Now, if you wanted to, on the inside, you could take and kind of change it up a little, or not necessarily change it up, but what if we added one of our ladies? So since this lady's kind of a free spirit, or the sentiment we have is sort of a free spirit, what if we did that right there? And let's see. We could either do life looks beautiful on you or celebrate. How about life looks good, beautiful on you? I kind of like that sentiment. So again, these are such great sentiments for kind of an all-purpose card for just about anybody on your list. Like I said, I'm just going to move her over. I actually just saw, one of the things I love about being a demonstrator is we have this amazing Facebook group that's our company Stampin' Up has for just demonstrators, where we can share all kinds of things. So people share projects they've made and whatnot. And this person shared a card, and instead of this hat, she put a graduation cap over the top, and it was a girl graduating. And oh my gosh, what a brilliant idea for the stamp set. I thought that was so clever. So if I get a chance, I'll make one up. And of course, I'll share it with you if I do. I'm going to stamp my sentiment, though, a little darker in the Bermuda Bay. So this was Pool Party that I stamped the girl in. And then I'm going to stamp my sentiment in Bermuda Bay, so it's a little darker. Isn't that fun? So I hope you've enjoyed this video and that you have some fun little tips and a great card layout. Of course, you could do this with any kind of printed paper and just add a fun sentiment on here, and you can add the girl on the inside or not. It doesn't matter, whatever you like. So thank you so much for joining me. If you like this video, would you do me a favor and share it with your friends? And of course, if you need to purchase anything, I would greatly appreciate your orders. Thank you guys so much, and I can't wait to stamp again with you soon. See you soon. Bye.